So what if there was a technology that's just rapidly reshaping pretty much everything? Healthcare, the job market, the whole global economy all at once?
Well, yeah, that technology is here, and it's artificial intelligence. It's not science fiction anymore.
Definitely not. So today we're doing a deep dive, looking at the real world, the tangible impacts AI is having right now.
Exactly. Our mission here is to sort of unravel AI's current path, cut through all the noise, and frankly, the hype sometimes, to give you the clearest, most important insights.
And where are we getting this info from?
We've pulled together a bunch of really current sources, new research on AI and medicine, detailed reports looking at the economic shifts happening, and some deep analyses of what the big tech companies are investing in.
Okay.
So the plan is we'll extract the most important bits, maybe share some surprising facts along the way, and really help you get quickly up to speed on where AI is heading, making sense of it all.
Sounds good. Okay, let's unpack this. Where should we start? Maybe somewhere that affects everyone, our health.
Yeah, let's do that. How AI is shaking things up in the lab and the clinic, revolutionizing discovery and treatment.
Right, starting with cancer research, the potential there seems, well, genuinely groundbreaking.
It really is. What's truly remarkable is AI's almost superhuman ability to just sift through these vast amounts of data.
Things humans just couldn't process on their own.
Exactly. And it recognizes incredibly complex patterns that are, invisible to us or just too complicated for the old methods. It's really pushing cancer research beyond what we thought was possible.
We saw a really powerful example of this, didn't we, from Dr. John William Sidham at Weill Cornell Medicine.
Yeah, he talks about creating what he calls a chat GPT for the cancer genome, which is a great analogy.
So, like a large language model, but for genes.
Basically, yeah. Imagine an LLM trained on thousands upon thousands of tumor sequencing data sets from huge public resources like the Cancer Genome Atlas TCGA and the AACR Project GeneAid databases.
And TCGA, that's massive, right? Real-world patient data.
Huge genomic, clinical, pathological data from thousands of actual tumors. It's an incredible training ground for AI to learn disease patterns from real life, not just theory.
And what could this AI do after analyzing all that data?
Well, this is the impressive part. It wasn't just reading it. It could pinpoint individual genetic variations, understand the DNA context right around them, and even spot when multiple variants showed up together in the same tumor.
Okay, that's complex pattern recognition.
It is. And crucially, it could classify these variants, figure out if they were pathogenic, so disease-causing, benign, or kind of uncertain, without needing to be told beforehand what each variant meant.
Wow. So it was learning the biology just from the data itself.
Exactly. Learning what was biologically important just by reading the genome, rather than being explicitly programmed with, if you see variant X, it means Y.
That's pretty amazing. But how reliable is this? I mean, cancer treatment is critical. Was the validation strong?
Very strong, actually. The validation showed it was highly accurate. It precisely identified the known genetic drivers of colorectal cancer genes like APC, KRAS, KP53, and even put them in the right order of importance. These are really well-established culprits.
So it's not just a cool lab experiment.
Not at all. This really provides a blueprint for a future where, your cancer treatment could be as unique as your DNA. A huge step towards truly personalized medicine, right?
It sounds like it. What are the immediate possibilities then?
Well, the potential is there for predicting ex vivo, so outside the body, in the lab, how a specific tumor might respond to different drugs, and designing really rational drug combinations tailored to that specific patient's cancer genetics, moving away from the broader sort of one-size-fits-all approaches.
Okay, incredible potential in cancer. Let's shift gears slightly to another critical area, heart health. AI is helping us see the unseen there too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Coronary CT, angiography, CCTA, it's a vital tool for looking at heart arteries. And AI is set to completely transform how we evaluate atherosclerotic plaque that build up in the arteries, making the analysis much more reliable and way faster.
And there's some concrete guidance on this now.
Yes, there's a major consensus statement that just came out August 1st, 2025, from the Quantitative Cardiovascular Imaging Study Group, the QCI. It's a group of 35 top experts, cardiologists, radiologists, computer scientists.
Okay, so what are they recommending? What's the game changer here?
Well, a few big things. They're saying AI-supported CCTA lets doctors calculate total plaque volume, TPV, and then compare to age and gender-adjusted percentile curves.
So you see how your plaque level compares to others like you, moving beyond just cholesterol numbers and blood pressure.
Exactly. It gives a much more precise, individualized picture of your actual plaque burden. And maybe the most striking recommendation is this. The mere presence of any atherosclerotic plaque detected by CCTA should probably lead to starting pharmacological treatment, like statins.
Wow, any plaque at all. That's a low threshold.
It is. And they go further. They recommend high-intensity treatment if your total plaque volume hits the 70th percentile for your age and gender.
And they're focusing on specific types of plaque, too.
Yes, particularly non-calcified plaque, or NCP. They highlight it as really key for monitoring how well treatment is working. NCP is seen as more vulnerable, the kind more likely to rupture and cause a heart attack, compared to stable calcified plaque.
This really sounds like that bionic radiologist idea we hear about sometimes.
It does, doesn't it? AI isn't replacing the doctor, but it's massively boosting their efficiency and precision. It helps them quantify things quickly and accurately, freeing them up to focus on the complex interpretation and patient care, augmenting them.
So it's a real shift in how heart disease might be managed.
A significant paradigm shift, yeah. Moving away from just treating based on risk factors, the sort of treat-to-target cholesterol levels or fire-and-forget approach, towards truly individualized treatment based on seeing the actual plaque.
And monitoring it.
Yes, monitoring the effect of treatments like lipid-lowering therapies directly on the plaque itself. You can see if it's stabilizing or even regressing. Doctors get real-time feedback on whether the treatment is working effectively for that individual.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly promising for patient care, but surely rolling out these sophisticated AI tools widely must have its own hurdles. What are the practical challenges?
Oh, absolutely. You're right to ask. It's not seamless yet. A big one is data. For these AI tools to be truly robust and fair, they need training on massive, diverse data sets, representing all sorts of people and conditions.
To avoid bias and make sure they work for everyone.
Precisely. And then there's the issue of variability between different AI software packages.
So different tools might give different results.
They can, yeah. The consensus statement noted this. TPV measurements could vary quite a bit, like from 58% to 88% across different vendors analyzing the same scan. And even doing scans on the same person close together, there's variability, maybe plus or minus 50% for TPV.
Wow, that's a huge range.
It is. So ensuring standardization, making sure the tools are consistently accurate across different systems and hospitals, that's a really critical next step before this can be fully implemented everywhere in clinical practice.
That makes sense. Okay, a powerful look at AI transforming healthcare. But as you said earlier, the ripples go much further. They're fundamentally reshaping the economic landscape too, especially jobs.
Yes, and this is where the story takes another fascinating and, let's be honest, for many people, a quite challenging turn.
What's really standing out on the jobs front?
Just how fast AI is already impacting employment. There was a report from The Independent on August 1st, 2025, that found AI is already replacing thousands of jobs every single month.
Thousands. Monthly. That seems incredibly fast. What kind of scale are we talking about overall?
The report was specific. Over 10,000 jobs lost just in July, directly because companies adopted generative AI. That made AI one of the top 5 reasons for job losses this year already. And if you look at the bigger picture, through July, private sector job cuts hit over 806,000. That's the highest number for that period since the pandemic hit in 2020. And since 2023, over 27,000 of those cuts have been explicitly linked to AI. It points to a really rapid structural shift in labor.
Are certain sectors feeling this more than others? And who is most affected?
The tech industry itself is seeing the fiercest cuts. They're up 36% year over year, which kind of makes sense, right? Tech companies are the earliest adopters. They build these tools.
They use their own medicine, so to speak.
Exactly. And it's also hitting younger job seekers and entry-level corporate roles quite hard. Those positions have declined by about 15% in the past year. AI often automates the more routine, data-heavy tasks that new hires used to do.
But it's not all loss, is it? I saw something about AI skills being in demand.
That's the surprising flip side, yes. While some jobs are disappearing, the use of the term AI in job descriptions has shot up by 400% in just the last 2 years.
400%.
Yeah, so it clearly indicates a massive shift in demand. Companies need people who understand and can work with AI even as other roles become automated.
So it's less a simple replacement, human out, machine in, and more. A complex reshuffling. A redefinition of needed skills.
That's a good way to put it. The report clarified that the impact isn't always direct replacement. Sometimes it's more indirect. Companies feeling pressure to cut costs, maybe due to broader economic worries, are choosing to invest in AI software instead of hiring new people.
So the job just never gets created in the first place.
Right. One CEO in the report literally described it as getting a blank check for AI tools, which led to a no more hiring freeze in certain areas. So new roles that might have gone to humans aren't opening up, or existing roles get folded into what the software can now do. It's a strategic move towards automation, often framed as a cost-saving measure.
This spending on AI tools must be enormous then. Which brings us to the investment side. We're talking billions, right?
Oh, way beyond billions. The Guardian had a report on August 2nd, 2025, with some truly astonishing figures.
Lay them on us.
Okay, get this. America's largest companies have spent $155 billion just on AI development so far in 2025, year to date.
$155 billion just this year. How does that compare to anything?
Well, the report put it in perspective. It's more than the entire U.S. federal government has spent on education, training, employment, and social services combined in the same period.
That scale is hard to even grasp. It really signals where they see the future, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It shows total conviction that AI is the growth engine. And they're not stopping. The big tech giants, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, Alphabet, they're planning to spend hundreds of billions more in the coming year.
Hundreds of billions more. What does that actually buy? What is that capital expenditure, the CapEx, going toward?
It's largely going into massive physical infrastructure. We're talking gigantic data centers. These things require unbelievable amounts of power, huge amounts of water for cooling, and racks upon racks of those incredibly expensive specialized semiconductor chips we mentioned.
Right. The things needed to actually run the AI models.
Exactly. Google was explicit about it. They said their CapEx primarily reflects investments in servers and data centers to support AI. There's no ambiguity there.
And Wall Street. What do investors make of this spending spree?
Oh, Wall Street is thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. Shares are soaring. Microsoft, for instance, hit a $4 trillion market cap after their latest report. Investors see this spending as fueling future profits.
Even Apple's getting more heavily involved now, aren't they? They seemed a bit more cautious initially.
They did, but now they're shifting gears significantly. The report mentioned Apple is reallocating a fair number of employees, specifically to AI projects, and seriously ramping up its AI investment.
What's their goal?
The aim seems to be embedding AI across all their devices and platforms. It signals that even for a company renowned for its hardware and ecosystem integration, AI is now seen as the next crucial layer, the next competitive frontier.
And it's not just the established giants pouring money in, right? What about startups like OpenAI?
Right, the innovators are getting huge funding too. OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT, recently raised another $8.3 billion. That was part of a massive $40 billion funding round that valued the company at a staggering $300 billion.
$300 billion for a company that didn't really exist in the public consciousness a few years ago.
Exactly. The investment frenzy is absolutely real, and it just seems to be accelerating across the board.
Okay, so we've covered the huge impact on health, the shakeup in the job market, the incredible investments. Let's zoom in now on the companies actually building this AI future, the architects of the revolution, so to speak.
Yeah, let's look at who's innovating in the software and systems first.
Yep.
A really interesting example came from a Google Cloud blog post on August 1st. They introduced something called MLE Star.
MLE Star, what is that?
It's a new machine learning engineering agent. Basically, its job is to automate the really complex tasks involved in building machine learning models. And you can work across different types of data, images, text, numbers, you name it.
Wait, so it's an AI that helps build other AI. That's pretty meta.
It is meta. And it's designed to overcome some limitations of earlier automated ML tools, which often just stuck to familiar methods or didn't explore deeply enough.
How does ML Star do it differently? What are its tricks?
Well, it's quite clever. First, it uses web search to find the latest state-of-the-art models out there as a starting point.
So it learns from the global research community in real time.
Kind of, yeah. Then, it doesn't just use that model wholesale. It refines specific parts of the machine learning pipeline. Things like feature engineering, how you prepare the data, or ensemble building, combining multiple models. It does this through iterative feedback loops and something called ablation studies.
Ablation studies, what's that?
It's essentially a scientific process where you systematically remove or change parts of the system, in this case, parts of the code or model, to see exactly what impact each component has. It helps the agent understand what's really working and fine-tune it.
Okay, so it's systematically improving the AI model it's building.
Exactly. And it also has built-in checks for robustness, things like debugging tools, checks to prevent data leakage, which is a common pitfall, and making sure data is used correctly.
Sounds comprehensive. Does it actually work well in practice?
The results they shared were pretty impressive, yeah. They tested it on a benchmark set of machine learning competitions from Kaggle called MLE Benchlight. MLE Star won medals in 63% of the competitions it entered.
63%. How does that compare?
Significantly better than the alternatives they tested against. And notably, it tended to use more modern, powerful models like EfficientNet and Vision Transformers, VIT, rather than getting stuck on older, potentially outdated ones.
So what does this mean for, people or companies wanting to use AI?
It means the barrier to entry for developing sophisticated AI models could get much lower. Tools like this could foster a lot more innovation across different industries because you don't need quite as much deep specialized expertise to get started with advanced techniques.
And it gets better automatically.
In a way, yes. Because it uses web search to find the latest models, its performance should naturally improve over time as new research and better models become available online. It's like having an AI assistant that constantly keeps itself updated on best practices.
Fascinating. Okay, so that's an innovator in the software side. Now let's talk about the companies that are like the essential infrastructure, the backbone players enabling all this AI development. Some Motley Fool articles highlighted a few key ones.
Absolutely. These are the companies providing the fundamental building blocks. Take Meta Platforms, for example, Facebook's parent company.
We know them, but how are they an AI infrastructure player?
Well, they're massively leveraging AI internally to improve user engagement across Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. The article cited like a 7% increase in time spent on Facebook, 6% on Instagram in just the past 6 months, driven by AI recommendations.
Okay, so using AI to boost their core business.
Right. And also helping advertisers. They've seen a 30% rise in advertisers using their AI-powered creative tools, leading to things like a 5% higher conversion rate for ads and reels. Plus, they're dominating the emerging smart glasses market, which relies heavily on AI. That market tripled last year and is forecast to grow over 60% a year through 2029.
Okay, so Meta is a big user and deployer of AI. What about the chip makers and hardware folks? Broadcom came up.
Yeah, Broadcom. Maybe not a household name like Meta, but absolutely critical. They're a market leader in things like Wi-Fi chips and, crucially, Ethernet switch chips. These are vital for the high-speed networking needed inside data centers running massive AI workloads.
Got it. The plumbing for AI data.
Exactly. And beyond networking, they're also a top supplier of custom AI accelerators, those specialized chips called ASICs.
ASICs. Explain those again quickly.
Sure. Unlike general-purpose CPUs or even GPUs, ASICs, application-specific integrated circuits, are designed from the ground up for one specific task. In this case, the intense mathematical calculations needed for AI. They're incredibly efficient and fast for that job. Broadcom makes custom ones for huge clients like Apple, Google, Meta, even OpenAI.
And that market's growing fast.
Yeah, hugely. The AI ASIC market is expected to grow something like 34% annually through 2030. Broadcom's own AI chip revenue could quadruple by 2027, according to the analysts.
Okay, when you talk chips, you have to talk about TSMC.
Okay, absolutely do.
Oh.
Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, their position is just dominant, almost total dominance in manufacturing the most advanced AI chips.
Dominant.
The article stated they account for over 90% of the manufacturing for cutting-edge AI chips. And overall, they held almost 68% of the entire pure-play foundry market companies that just manufacture chips designed by others in the first quarter of 2025.
So the NVIDIAs, the Apples, the AMDs, they design the chips. TSMC builds them.
Largely, yes. Especially for the most advanced stuff. TSMC has a technological lead in the tiniest, most powerful process nodes, like 3 nanometer and 5 nanometer. That's where the cutting-edge AI performance comes from. Pushing the limits of physics, basically. Pretty much. And they're making huge strategic investments, too, like $165 billion planned for new manufacturing facilities in the U.S.
Okay, if TSMC makes the chips, who makes the machines that let TSMC make those incredibly tiny features on the chips?
Ah, now you're talking about ASML Holding, a Dutch company. They have a near monopoly on a critical technology called EUV lithography.
EUV?
Extreme ultraviolet lithography. It's the only technology capable of printing the incredibly fine patterns needed for chips at 7 nanometers and below, the kind essential for the most powerful AI processors. ASML is the only company in the world that makes these incredibly complex, hugely expensive EUV machines.
So no ASML, no cutting-edge AI chips from TSMC or anyone else?
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
They are absolutely indispensable in the current ecosystem.
Wow. Okay, another name that came up was ARM Holdings. Different business model, right?
Very different. ARM doesn't manufacture chips. They design the fundamental microchip architecture, the blueprint, basically. Then they license that intellectual property, IP, to hundreds of other companies like Apple, Qualcomm, NVIDIA, who then design their specific chips based on ARM's architecture.
Like the processors in iPhones use ARM architecture.
Exactly. It's a high-margin business because they're selling IP. And a key advantage for ARM, especially relevant to AI, is power efficiency. Their designs are known for sipping power compared to some rivals.
Which matters a lot in those giant data centers.
Hugely. The articles mentioned ARM-based processors for cloud data centers could use up to 60% less electricity than competitors. That's a massive saving at scale. This advantage could lead to them capturing maybe 50% of that data center processor market by the end of 2025.
50% market share based largely on power savings. That's impressive.
It really highlights how critical energy efficiency is becoming in the AI arms race.
Okay, one more name mentioned was DigitalOcean. Less known, perhaps? What's their niche?
Yeah, DigitalOcean is interesting. Described as a sort of Buffett-like because of its steady, predictable business model focused on cloud services, primarily for developers and small to medium businesses.
And how does AI fit in for them?
They offer cloud infrastructure and platform services that make it easier for their customers to deploy AI solutions, things like tools for model training or automated coding assistance. They operate on a predictable monthly recurring revenue model, making them a quieter but solid player in the broader cloud and AI infrastructure space. More accessible, perhaps, than the giant cloud providers for certain users.
Got it. So across this whole ecosystem, from software agents to the bedrock chip manufacturers, the scale is just immense. And the predictions, some are pretty bold, right?
Extremely bold.
Yeah.
Those Motley Fool articles made a striking prediction that two of these AI-driven stocks, Meta Platforms and Broadcom, could actually be worth more than Apple by the year 2030.
More than Apple. Apple's currently over $3 trillion.
Exactly. Surpassing Apple's current massive $3.1 trillion market value. That forecast alone just speaks volumes about how strongly investors believe AI will reorder market leadership and drive economic value in the coming years.
It really puts an exclamation point on the scale of this transformation.
It absolutely does. It suggests AI isn't just another tech trend. It's seen as the fundamental driver for the next decade, at least.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up. To recap our deep dive today, artificial intelligence is clearly driving just unprecedented growth, technologically and economically.
Yeah, we've seen its profound impact, from potentially revolutionizing personalized medicine in cancer and heart health,
to dramatically reshaping the job market, causing real displacement, but also creating demand for new skills.
and attracting these truly mind-boggling levels of investment from the world's biggest companies. It's definitely a complex, very dynamic, and incredibly fast-moving landscape.
And understanding all these different facets, these developments, seems crucial for you, our listener.
Absolutely. From the microscopic level, like how AI analyzes a cancer genome, to the huge macroscopic scale of global economic shifts and figuring out which companies are really powering this revolution.
Being informed here really seems valuable just to make sense of the changes happening all around us.
Definitely. It helps navigate what's coming.
So maybe the final thought to leave you with is this. As AI keeps getting deeper and deeper into every part of our lives, are we really entering an era where our collective health, our financial futures, maybe even how we define work itself, will all be fundamentally tied to the patterns and predictions churned out by artificial intelligence?
And if that's the case, what does that really mean for your individual future, navigating a world that's increasingly shaped by these powerful algorithms? Something to think about.